Watch this video and reality will bend to your will. Right now, almost every manifestation video online is pushing the same idea, that if you think and feel strongly enough, reality will start bending itself around your desires. It sounds powerful, it sounds like control, but it quietly replaces understanding with fantasy. Because the physical world doesn't reorganize itself just because you held a feeling long enough. It follows structure, constraints, and cause and effect processes that don't respond to intention alone. And when that gets ignored, people tend to lose clarity instead of actually gaining power. Maybe you've tried it. You've written the affirmations until your hand cramped. You've spent hours in the state of the wish fulfilled. And yet, the bank account didn't shift, the health didn't miraculously repair itself, and the physical world remained as stubbornly rigid as a concrete wall. Here's the truth they won't tell you on the manifestation side of the internet. The universe doesn't care about your vibes, it cares about protocol. Something happened in the intersection of quantum physics and cognitive science that should have ended the law of attraction industry forever. Researchers discovered something kinda obvious. Your mind isn't a magic wand. It's an interface designed specifically to hide reality from you so you don't go extinct. The reason you haven't manifested your dream life isn't that you lack faith or focus. It's because you are trying to edit the source code of the universe using a user-level icon. It's like trying to change the circuitry of a motherboard by dragging a folder on your desktop. In this video, the gaslighting ends. I'm going to show you the hard wall of reality, the biological and physical safeguards that prevent your thoughts from liquefying the world around you. But I'm also going to give you the real key. We're moving past wishing and into the mechanics of active inference. You're going to learn why your vibration actually does matter, but not in the way you've been taught. If you're ready to stop chasing miracles and start understanding the mainframe, listen very carefully. Let's be honest, if reality actually bent to every human whim, society would have collapsed into total fragmentation centuries ago. Imagine a world where 7 billion people are simultaneously trying to collapse the wave function based on their personal desires, fears, and internal contradictions. It would be a chaotic soup of competing hallucinations. The physical world feels rigid because it has to be. This is what we call the friction of objective consistency. To understand why your mind can't just think a new car into your driveway, you have to understand Donald Hoffman's interface theory of perception. Hoffman, a cognitive scientist at UC Irvine, used evolutionary game theory to prove something terrifying. Organisms that see reality as it is are consistently outcompeted by those who see a simplified, survival-oriented interface. You aren't looking at a window into truth. You are looking at a desktop interface. Space, time, and physical objects are just icons. And just like the icons on your computer, they are designed to hide the complexity of the motherboard and not to give you administrative access to it. If you saw the code of reality, the trillions of quantum variables and thermodynamic costs, your brain would incinerate from the sheer data load. So, evolution installed a firewall. This firewall is known in neuroscience as the free energy principle, pioneered by Carl Friston. Your brain is not a passive camera. It is a predictive simulation engine. Its primary job is to minimize surprise. To keep you alive, your brain must maintain your body within narrow physical bounds. If you could simply hallucinate away a threat, like a predator or a cliff, you would immediately go extinct. Your brain actively inhibits your internal mental projections from being perceived as external facts. It creates a hard wall between your imagination and the atomic structure of the world. But here's where the manifestation teachers got one thing right, even if they explained it wrong. While you cannot edit the icons from the outside, your internal state, what you might call your vibration, dictates the generative model through which you interact with the world. You see, the external world is a reflection of the internal, but not through magic. It's through a process called structural coupling. Your vibration is actually your neurological baseline expectation. If you vibrate in a state of lack, your brain is literally programmed to ignore opportunities, misread social cues, and take actions that reinforce that lack to minimize surprise. The universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what your generative model predicts. But now we are going to deconstruct the mainframe of the universe. We are going to look at the quantum Darwinism that keeps reality stable, the biological anchors that keep you locked in your current identity, and finally, the actual protocol to recalculate your internal priors so that reality has no choice but to follow. You are not a victim of a fixed world, but you might be a prisoner of a locked interface, and now it's time to learn the administrator's password. If your mind is so powerful, why can't you simply look at a cup of coffee and command it to slide across the table? Why does the physical world feel so stubbornly, almost aggressively, indifferent to your will? This is the point where most manifestation teachers start to stutter. They might tell you that you just didn't believe hard enough, or that your vibration was off. But the truth is much more mechanical. You are hitting a universal firewall known as the friction of objective consistency. To understand why the world is hard, we have to look at quantum Darwinism. Most people have a surface-level understanding of the observer effect, the idea that looking at a particle changes its state. But what they don't tell you is that you aren't the only observer. Every atom of air in the room, every photon of light bouncing off the walls, and every other conscious being on this planet is also observing that cup of coffee. In physics, this is called decoherence. The moment a quantum possibility enters the environment, information about its state is copied trillions of times throughout the surroundings. It's like a universal ledger that is updated instantly. By the time your conscious mind even has the thought to manifest a movement, the environment has already reached a consensus lockdown. The mainframe has already finalized the reality of that cup staying exactly where it is. To move it with your mind, you would essentially have to outvote the rest of the physical universe. But it's not just a physics problem, it's a thermodynamic barrier. Your thoughts are electrical impulses in the brain. They are incredibly low energy signals. Matter, on the other hand, is essentially highly condensed energy, thousands of times more dense than the firing of a neuron. To restructure atomic bonds or move physical mass using only the electrical output of your brain is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. You simply lack the energy density to overwrite the physical source code at a user level. However, the most important reason you can't manipulate reality at will is evolutionary safeguarding. Imagine for a second that your mind could instantly liquefy the world based on your thoughts. If you were driving down the highway and had a fleeting, intrusive thought about a car crash, the road would dissolve in front of you. If you felt a momentary flash of fear in a dark alley, a scary monster would literally manifest from the shadows. A world controlled by imagination would be a world of immediate extinction. This is why the brain evolved what neuroscientists call inhibitory gating. Deep within your neural architecture, there are neurotransmitters whose sole job is to prevent your internal mental sandbox from being perceived as external fact. Your brain actively locks you out of reality manipulation to ensure social cohesion and survival. It provides a shared baseline, a playground with fixed rules where diverse consciousnesses can interact without overriding one another. The rigidity of matter isn't a limitation, it's a canvas. Think of it like a video game. If you could fly, walk through walls, and give yourself infinite money at any moment, the game would lose all meaning. The constraints, the walls, the gravity, the scarcity are exactly what make the actions you take within the game significant. But here's the glitch in the system. While you can't edit the icons, the objects directly, you can shift the generative model that determines which icons even show up on your desktop. You can't make the cup move with your mind, but you can change the vibrational baseline that determines whether you are the kind of person who is even in a room with that cup in the first place. Now, we're about to go deeper. We're going to look at how your internal vibration is actually a statistical prediction, and how to finally start hacking the probabilities of your own life. If the physical world is a locked hard wall, then why does every ancient tradition and every modern high achiever insist that your vibration is the key? Is it just more gaslighting? No. But the mistake you've been making is thinking that vibration is a feeling you project outward to change the world. In reality, your vibration is the generative model your brain uses to construct your local reality. In neuroscience, this is known as structural coupling. You are not an observer standing apart from the world. You are an organism that is coupled to its environment through a constant feedback loop of information. Your internal state doesn't attract things from across the universe. It filters the infinite data stream of the mainframe to show you only what matches your current code. Think of your brain as a radio receiver. If you are tuned to a rap station, you can't hear the music on the rock station. It's not that the other station doesn't exist. It's that your hardware is literally incapable of processing that frequency. This is why you can want wealth with every fiber of your being. But if your vibration, your neurological baseline, is tuned to lack, you will be functionally blind to the opportunities right in front of you. This is where the manifestation industry fails you. They tell you to visualize the result. But when you visualize $1 million while feeling the crushing weight of debt, you create a massive prediction error. According to the free energy principle, your brain's primary directive is to resolve this error. It looks at the data of your current life, the bills, the stress, the empty cupboards, and compares it to your visualization. Your brain doesn't see your visualization as a goal. It sees it as a glitch. It treats your dream as a threat to your stability because it doesn't match the survival-tested reality you are currently in. To protect you, your brain immediately suppresses the dream and returns you to the state of lack because that state is homeostatically stable. It is the devil your brain knows. So how do you actually vibrate in a way that shifts the hard wall? You stop wishing and you start active inference. In the universe's code, wishing is a declaration of non-existence. The moment you say, "I want," you are instructing the mainframe to maintain the state of not having. You are locking yourself into a frequency of absence. To change the output, you must recalculate the prior. You must occupy the generative model of the version of you who already has the outcome, not as a fantasy, but as a biological fact. When you shift your baseline identity, something mechanical happens. This is the mirror effect. Your brain stops trying to resolve the error by pulling you back. It starts resolving the error by niche construction. Because your internal model is now sovereign, your brain begins to perform thousands of micro-behaviors that you aren't even consciously aware of. Your speech patterns change, your eye contact becomes more coherent. Your reticular activating system begins to flag data points, people, conversations, risks that were always there but were previously filtered out by your lack programming. You aren't bending reality. You are finally observing the parts of reality that were previously invisible to your old frequency. The external world is a reflection of the internal because you are the transducer. You take the raw, chaotic data of the quantum field and you organize it through the lens of your identity. If the reflection in the mirror is unsuccessful, you don't try to fix the mirror, you change the person standing in front of it. But there is one final piece to this puzzle. To truly move the hard wall, you have to understand the social safeguard, the reason why other people are the strongest firewall keeping you trapped in your old self. If you want to move the hard wall, you have to stop acting like a user and start acting like the administrator. You have to stop trying to manifest results and start programming the priors. Here's the sovereign protocol, the three-phase mechanical shift that collapses the distance between your internal model and the external reflection. Phase 1. Decoding the zero-point baseline. The biggest mistake people make is looking at their current reality, the empty bank account, the stagnant career, the lonely apartment, and trying to visualize something else. But here's the problem. When you look at the icons of your life and feel that familiar ping of anxiety or frustration, you have just sent a high-priority command to the mainframe. In neuroscience, your brain is a difference engine. It is constantly measuring the gap between what it expects and what it sees. Your vibration isn't the happy thought you have for 5 minutes a day. It is your automatic response to the icons on your screen. If you look at a bill and your stomach tightens, that visceral sensation is your zero-point baseline. That is the frequency you are broadcasting. To the mainframe, that tightening in your stomach is a declarative fact. It is your brain saying, "This is who I am. I am the person who is threatened by this icon." And because your brain's primary job is to minimize surprise and keep you stable, it will unconsciously steer your actions, your speech, and your perception to keep you in that threatened state. It is homeostatically safe. The shift begins when you stop looking at the icons for evidence of your power. The icons are lagging data. They are the result of the old code. If you look at them to decide how to feel, you are trapped in a feedback loop. You must become indifferent to the icons and focused entirely on the neural response. When you look at the lack and feel nothing because you know it's just old data being flushed out of the system, that is when the wall begins to soften. Phase 2. Killing the frequency of absence. Most manifestation techniques are actually linguistic curses. When you say, I want, I need, or I am trying, you are broadcasting a frequency of absence. Think about the architecture of that statement. To want something is to explicitly define its absence. You are telling the universe, this thing is over there, and I am over here, and there is a gap between us. The mainframe, being a purely logical system, hears that command and says, confirmed, the gap remains. You are literally manifesting the distance between you and your goal. This is the wish loop, and it is a trap. To break it, you must use declarative inference. You must move from I want to be successful to I am the person who is the source of value. This isn't faking it until you make it. This is neuro-linguistic programming at the level of the source code. When you use the phrase I am, you are issuing a generative instruction. You are providing your brain with a new prior, a new baseline expectation. When the internal model is I am wealthy, but the external icon says $0, the brain faces a massive prediction error. If you stay in the I am state without flinching, the brain has no choice but to resolve that error. It cannot change the internal model because you have declared it as a sovereign fact. Therefore, it must begin to change the external niche. Phase 3, niche construction and the quantum interface. Now, we reach the physical mechanism. How does that internal I am move the hard wall? It happens through structural coupling and niche construction. You've been taught to use your mind to visualize, but you've been ignoring your primary hardware, your hands and your voice. In every ancient mystery school, the hands were seen as quantum transducers. They are the primary way consciousness interfaces with the material plane. When you speak your reality into the room, not as a wish, but as a declarative command, you are using sound waves to physically vibrate the environment. You are collapsing the wave function in real time. When your internal model, I am, aligns with your linguistic output, I create, your brain's reticular activating system, the gatekeeper of your perception, suddenly switches its filters. You will start seeing glitches in the hard wall. You will notice a conversation you would have missed. You will spot a risk that looks like an opportunity. You will speak with a level of coherence that causes other people to unconsciously rearrange themselves to fit your new identity. This is the mirror effect. The world doesn't bend because of magic. It bends because you have become a non-negotiable signal. When your internal vibration is so stable that it refuses to be decohered by the environment is the one that has to shift to match you. You aren't asking the universe for a favor. You are constructing a new reality by being the only stable point in a sea of probability. The sandbox is open. The mainframe is waiting. The only question is, are you going to keep dragging icons, or are you ready to write the code? You are not broken. You are simply running an outdated operating system in a world that demands sovereignty. The myth of manifestation died the moment we realized that reality doesn't respond to our wishes. It responds to our identity. Tonight, the old programming ends. You are no longer trying to edit the icons. You are reclaiming your role as the administrator of your interface. To lock this in, we need to bypass the social firewall. Science shows that when you declare a commitment publicly, your brain creates a social contract that makes you 65% more likely to follow through. Drop a comment right now and type, "Protocol activated." Tell the mainframe you are done wishing. Tell the world you have reclaimed your frequency. I'll see you in the next transmission. Welcome home, Sovereign.